Welcome to Newswire, news for Nebraska's farmers and ranchers. Shortages in food supply is making headlines recently. With prices climbing and the war in Ukraine ongoing, officials fear a global food crisis could be at hand. But Nebraska Farm Bureau senior economist Jay Rempe says an empty spot on the grocery store shelf should not be alarming.
There is some real concern about food shortages, and rightfully so. But most of that concern deals with the rest of the world because of what's happening with the COVID, the supply chains, now the war between Russia and Ukraine. And it's mostly focused around wheat and to some extent vegetable oil. Here in the United States, we're not going to see food shortages per se. Most of the concern focuses largely around sub-Saharan Africa and the Middle East, because that's where a lot of the wheat out of Russia and Ukraine go. A lot of people in those areas are low income, there's poverty, they can't afford the higher prices.
Rempe says the world could be dealing with this issue over the next few years. Wheat prices have climbed since January because of the global challenges. Rempe says this has created an opportunity for Nebraska farmers to help meet the needs of the world population.
I anticipate we'll probably see some more wheat planted because of the higher prices. The United States is a competitor in the export markets for wheat, so when you take Russia and Ukraine off the table, and we'll see how this all plays out, but it opens the door for the United States to ship some more elsewhere. So there's some opportunities there. The other player, Ukraine, is a big, large corn producer as well, and they play a lot in the export markets for corn. Obviously, we're a large corn producing state, so there's some opportunities there.
And while commodity prices have risen this year, Rempe says that isn't the only factor playing a role in the rising prices at the grocery store. Transportation, processing, packaging, and labor account for the biggest chunk of the food dollar. He says farmers and ranchers will need to work through higher input costs, drought, and other factors when making decisions to remain profitable.
One of the reasons, frankly, that we're seeing higher commodity prices, though, is the push from the higher input costs as well. And that's worldwide, not only in the United States, but fertilizer costs. Obviously, oil prices have gone up, so diesel, energy costs are up quite a bit. That's all pushing, that's kind of some of the underlying things pushing inflation, but it's in pushing the input costs as well.
Thanks for watching Newswire. For more stories like this, visit nefb.org and follow us on Facebook and Twitter.